Hello Dealy, and welcome to Something Edible.
You know, this is a situation that's happened to everyone. You got people coming over, or you have to go someplace at the drop of a hat, don't have time to go to the store, and you need to bring something. Well, if you have a well-stocked pantry, then you've got this problem licked. One of the things that I like to bring when I need to go someplace and I need to bring something that someone wants to eat is this black bean and corn salsa. It's really easy to make. It's about opening cans and dumping bags, and like I said, as long as you've got everything bought ahead of time, then this is a breeze. It'll come together in less than 15 minutes, and that includes the time it takes you to ferret around in your cupboard to get everything you need. So let's go over here and look at our ingredients and start making some salsa. I've got everything laid out here that we need to make this dish happen, and although the ingredient list looks a little bit long, it's really not when you consider that this is stuff that you've probably got lying around in your cupboards anyway. And you know, if you're doing something like making, you know, your own tacos, or you're seasoning other things, there's really not a whole lot of additional stuff that you would have to go out and buy in order to stock your cupboard properly. Well, the key to making a good salsa always starts out with a dressing. I mean, essentially we're talking about some vegetables here that need some sort of flavor vehicle, and so we're making a dressing. We're going to start out here with 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. If you like something a little more neutral tasting, like, I don't know, like any sort of vegetable oil, you can use that. I dig sunflower oil too, that's pretty good stuff. Then you're going to add 2 teaspoons rather of the adobo sauce from canned chipotles. That's about 2 teaspoons right there, but you know what, I like mine a little hotter, so I'm going to add a little more. You can dice up the chipotle in there too if you like, if you really want to give it a kick. The next thing we're going to add to that is a tablespoon of demerara, or sugar in the raw. This is also called turbinado sugar. If you don't have this, you could use brown sugar instead. It'll be pretty close. The next thing we're going to add to that is a teaspoon of kosher salt. And we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 turns of my mill. Your mileage may vary. Then we're going to go with a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground coriander. Also to that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh minced cilantro. You can also use the dry stuff too, but it's going to be a little more, it's kind of a little more oomph to it, so you're only going to want to add a tablespoon if you use the dry stuff. And then we're also going to add 1 clove of minced garlic. And you can use the jar stuff for this, but you might have to double up. I don't really dig the jar stuff. It doesn't have the oomph that and the garlic flavor that you'd really like to get out of your garlic. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to whisk all this together. Get that sugar and that salt to dissolve and those flavors to marry. We put the oil in there because oil goes really well with spices. There are compounds that will, in those chilies, that will only move around when in the presence of oil. And so if you really want to get maximum bang for your buck where your chilies are concerned and get a decent mouthfeel out of the whole deal, then you're definitely going to want to use a little bit of oil in there. So that's pretty good. And you can let that sit for a little bit if you want those flavors to meld. And in the meantime, you're going to want to make sure that you've got your vegetables ready to go, which is just basically dumping and draining cans. So for our vegetables, we're going to add 12 ounces, which is 1 bag of frozen corn that's been cooked just a wee little bit. In my microwave, that's about half the cooking time that I need. It'll still be cold, but it won't be frozen. The next thing you're going to add to that is some canned black olives, and about a dozen maybe. You don't need many. I mean, you can get them pre-sliced too. It's totally up to you. Now to that I'm going to add a can of black beans that have been drained and rinsed. If you don't drain and rinse the black beans, things are going to look ugly really quick, so make sure you do that. And then the last thing that I'm going to add to this is a 10-ounce can of diced tomatoes and chilies that you've drained off as well. You can save that liquid that comes with those. It goes really good in a beer. Just save it and dump it into your beer. You'll thank me later. So here we go. I'm just going to toss all that stuff together and make sure that those seasonings get all over the veggies in there. And really, once you're happy with those flavors being mixed thoroughly, you're done. I mean, there's nothing else to this. This is ready to serve. I better go grab a chip so we can test this out. Alright, I got my chip here. We're going to try this out and make sure that it's seasoned the way it needs to be. That's it. I'm not changing a thing. It's got just a perfect balance of sweet, spicy, salty, tangy, and you get that crunch from the chip too. So this is super simple. It came together in less than 15 minutes, and people are going to wonder where you got this stuff and ask you to bring it next time. It just really rocks. So if you want to know how to make this super easy corn and black bean salsa, you can log on to the website there at the Hayes Daily News, or you can check out all the details on my website, somethingedible.com. And as usual, if you got questions, you can always hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. So until next time, enjoy your cooking, and I'm going to get some more salsa.